order or the other two spirit boxes. So we never know where these answers are going to go. That's the whole point of using multiple communication devices. On your TV shows, they normally hone in on one spirit box, and when nothing happens, commercial, you hear about Charmin tissue paper, right? So that's kind of how that goes. That's why I love to use multiple communications, because we don't know where the answers are going to go. Here's the common things that we commonly get answers to. If you're going to ask your own questions, the only thing I ask you to stay away from is the children, and don't kind of poke the bear about the marriage, because again, true love story. Do not ask questions about the children. I'll explain before we leave the space. Let's start off with you guys. Eliza's death is going to be your assignment. She's pretty open about talking about it. 4 major questions that we get answers to. How she died, how old she was when she died, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So those are 4 major questions that we commonly get the answers to. Notice that none of them are yes/no questions. They're very specific. Then with yours likes to give us 1 to 2 syllable answers because of how it's designed and how it works.
Okay.
The mansion's not here. What happened to it? When did that happen?
Okay.
Eliza is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. Ironically, both Eliza wives have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Which Eliza are we dealing with? And if you get, again, we never know, like most of the time it's the one I just told you about, but in the event that the first one's here, it's just very interesting. Ask that Eliza how old she was when she got married, or ask how old Charles was when she got married, or how long they were married in general. So marriage questions, maiden names. Got that one? Yep. Trying to keep it nice and simple. I know I just threw a lot at you. So we're going to spread out. We're going to stay away from the 2 little measly vehicles that are actually in here. And again, keep in mind where your cameras are pointed in case people start cutting through the lot. So just kind of point the opposite direction. People always wonder what the hell we're doing scattered around this crazy parking lot, as with cameras and blinky lights, and you guys are getting the point. And of course, stick figures. We can't discount the stick. I actually just think I saw something on the right-hand side of that.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting for me to check out. And I know she's recording. You're recording too, right?
I am.
Perfect. All right, let's spread out. Did you get any other numbers, Scarlett?
No, not higher than 9.1.
9.1. Okay, that's your new base. Don't give me anything below that. All right, let's do this.
Where you want to go with me?
Yes. We're a pair. Yeah.
How old? How?
Okay.
Where?
So we got to figure out what happened to the house.
Yes.
Okay. You're gonna.
Ooh, there's like something over that
You
direction.
want to go
under the
over
light.
that direction, or we'll just ask over there?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Is there something there?
Look, those people are watching us. I heard squeak.
Me too.
All right, you want to ask? Okay, we'll stay here.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. I heard it.
It's like hi.
All right. Oh yeah. Oh, that was music.
Yeah.
You think we should stay where there's music? All right, let's stay here. Okay,
Yes.
so are their names Elizabeth and Charles? Eliza and Charles, right? Okay, so we're working on this.
We
We
got
got a lot of
music.
music right now.
We got
As
something
you
sounds
should.
like
Yeah,
hi.
yeah. All right, so we need to ask Eliza and Charles what happened to their mansion.
I would go to Eliza directly.
Eliza
almost
directly?
omit Charles at this point.
Okay, he's just not doing. He's not very talkative.
Looks like we have too much coming out of this. Let me kind of scale it back just a hair.
Yeah.
Just sort of, yeah.
Oh, there's
Oh,
like,
that's a suspicious looking person dancing over there. Oh.
and there was
is actually.
nobody there.
So remember that the thing will pick up on trees. Okay, so you
Yeah.
might have that tree in view. One of the things that I look for when there is a stick figure that I'm not sure what that is, I look for 3 points for a face. Do me a favor and point that camera directly at my face, and I'll prove a point. Do I have 2 eyes and a nose on there?
There's I think
So there should be...
Yeah,
there's 3 dots.
for sure.
Yeah.
Right, so 3 points for a head.
Yep.
If it's a singular point for a head, it's usually something man-made, like a tree or a post or something along those lines.
Got
So
it.
if there's,
Yeah.
obviously 3 points for a head, I look at it a little bit
I see
further.
3 points.
Oh yeah, there's 3 points for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is vaguely in that tree-like area though.
Yeah.
The nice thing about that, though, is that I can take a screenshot and brighten it up to see if it lines up with anything in the background.
Got it.
That's how I do a lot of debunking with this. It's not just watching it in real time. I'll take a picture of it, and if I think it's something, you'll get the original screenshot plus my brightened version of it, so you can make that determination for yourselves.
Perfect.
And it's on a slide bar, so you can literally move the slide bar this way, right? You know what I mean? And it's not going to be like you have them side by side. It's literally going to be over top of each other, so you can move it back and forth.
All right.
It's still interactive even when we're done. That's
Excellent.
the fun part.
Wow, that is fun.
Yeah, wow, exciting.
Yeah, your data when you get it back should take you like weeks to go through.
Okay. All right.
It's a lot of work.
Oh, I don't even know if I had time for that, but okay, great.
It'll be fun. Just think
I'll
like
do
all
it.
the,
I'll
all
find
the
time.
nights. Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
All right, Eliza. We heard that your mansion's no longer here, obviously, because we're standing in it and it's not here. What happened to it? I didn't quite catch that. Let's try one more time, Eliza. What happened to your mansion? Okay. Well, whatever it was, when did it happen? Okay. We're going to move over just slightly over to the right here. We're going to ask again in case you've moved over there, okay? You ready? Let's move over this way. Okay, Eliza. Hoping you're having a nice evening. What happened to your mansion? It used to be here, but it's not anymore. And when did that happen? Should we try somewhere else?
I'm picking up some stick figure over there.
Oh, I see that. You want to walk vaguely that direction?
Yeah.
Ooh, that could have been
And then start.
an answer, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, maybe this is a good spot.
Yes.
Okay, Eliza, hope you're having a nice evening. We're standing where your mansion used to be, and we were wondering what happened to it. Oh, that was clearly an answer. I didn't know what it was. Okay. And yeah, when did that happen? I'm gonna walk over this way and hit these blue windows real fast. Are you still getting stick figures? Oh yeah, for sure you are. I think that was... Oh. I don't know what that was.
Don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, Eliza. How's it going? What happened to your mansion that used to be here? And when did it happen?
Maybe I'll give it a try.
Oh yeah, you should try. She might be more responsive to you. Pretty window. Okay, you can ask.
Okay. Hi, Eliza. Hope you're here with us. So we're curious what happened to your mansion.
Don't know what it was. I didn't catch that. It's
Yeah.
real hard.
Can you tell us when did it happen?
I feel like that was an answer.
Yeah. Pew, pew.
If you turn it that way, does it see those people? No, not quite. Oh, no. Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
there it
there
is.
is one.
Interesting. That's
Yeah.
kind of neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there were some human in that window.
Was there a human in the window?
Yeah, someone was moving.
Oh, spooky.
Yeah.
Hey, Eliza, we're going to try one more time. How are you doing? And what happened to your mansion was right here, but it's not anymore. When did that happen? In Dallas, I think. Don't know what that was. You must be in the rock chair bus right now.
Oh, that is spooky.
Yeah, that was.
Mm. Dun, 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 dun.
I feel like you were getting a lot more hits over this way.
Yes, and under the tree. Shall we head over there?
Oh yeah, we can head over there. Just music.
And
But we didn't
break
catch
up
any
words.
words that were...
No words, no
Nope.
lyrics.
I think there are words. It's just hard to tell.
Got the word Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas. I believe it was football related.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Dallas is the only word I caught.
So here's what's fun about when other cities pop up through a Charleston radio station.
Okay.
A lot of times a name will pop up throughout the night as well. So for example, like where are you guys from?
Charlotte.
Okay, that's right, you did tell me that. So let's say last night, your name would pop up. Sorry, your name's probably not going to come up on our name. On
It's a
our
real
page.
unusual
Rare,
name.
yeah.
Right? So let's say we hear the name Ben,
Yep.
and then the name Charlotte later on. We don't know what the tie is until I do the tour tonight. It
Got it,
almost
got it.
predicts who's coming next.
I see. So like maybe tomorrow you have people from Dallas.
Correct.
Or, yeah. All right.
With a name that I'll have a specific name of who it belongs to.
Okay.
It's not going to be just the city that they came from. It's going to be who from that city is coming.
Got it. Got it.
Like, it's crazy. I probably see that probably 10 to 12 times a year where that'll
Okay.
actually occur
Oh,
and
neat.
be accurate.
Wow.
Like, on the nose.
That is impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I do gauge a
gotta
lot of
hear a
this.
name.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
I measure everything. So what do you do for a living, by the way?
Oh, we're both professors.
Nice.
Yeah.
In what fields?
Political
Political
science. I like that reaction.
Oh, I love it. So any particular, like, narrowed focus, any niche in that?
Yeah. So we're both methodologists or like statisticians.
Stats,
for
machine
politics.
learning, computer
So
related
that's
stuff.
why you love all the numbers I'm throwing at you.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, man. Numbers are good.
It's so awesome. Which university?
UNC Charlotte.
Okay. Didn't know if it was an online school. All of my degrees were earned online. So
Yes.
all my degrees are in writing. I didn't need to go to brick and mortar for that.
Fair
So,
enough.
I mean, I have a master's degree in creative writing and
cool.
2 bachelor degrees, and thought about going in for my PhD in metaphysics.
Oh, interesting.
It's not always a recognized field, but again, it does at least give me the initials for what I'm doing out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
For sure.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Well, I think the point for that, after I would complete the metaphysics PhD, like I would want to go work for that same school on the side, teaching what I'm already doing out here in a metaphysical.
That's usually what you do with a PhD.
Yeah.
Because like, what else do you do with it? But
Well,
yeah,
you continue to write books, and they sell better when the PhD is after your author name.
that's a good point. Yeah.
Which is-
Do you write like investigative books or?
So I'm actually working on my first nonfiction book, more so about like how I got into this and some of the theories of
Oh,
what I've
sweet.
measured. But all of my work so far has been fiction.
Okay.
Because I've been doing that for 20. How old am I? So it'd be 26 years at this point. I've been
Okay.
writing
Yeah.
fiction.
Oh, neat.
That's
What kind
more
of fiction do you
exciting.
write?
It's about the afterlife.
All right. No, I mean, I should have guessed. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's always been kind of a passion subject, obviously.
Yeah.
But I put out a workbook last year based on my scoring system for investigations.
Okay.
Because there's really no true way to measure it. So I wanted to teach other teams how to measure their results versus just like, I heard
Yeah.
a voice and that place must be haunted. Like, no,
Yeah.
you have one voice. I need more.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
that's
only worth
awesome.
X amount of points.
Yeah.
So
Collect
again,
data. That's
Yeah.
exactly. And it's
Yeah.
basically what you guys are doing out here. I do this 7 nights a week.
Oh, that's
so,
awesome.
I mean, I'm able to measure moon phases and who's on the tour versus skepticism versus all of those pieces, and I can look at K-index and really figure out like what is affecting the paranormal activities.
good. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and
exciting.
it's a super fun study. So again, with the measuring of the results, it's based on what you guys capture throughout the night, plus my spot check, and I kind of designed that workbook. And of course, I'm going to put a new edition out every year.
Okay.
So next year's
Yeah.
edition is going to have the Estes method on there, which is something I just started measuring this year because I just started doing it on a regular basis, so I'm able to actually measure the results.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see how that goes.
Oh,
But
that's
you guys are
really
going to see that at the end of the night because Jenna's already asked to be part of it.
Cool,
So,
man. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I say we round everybody up. Nothing specific though.
Just Dallas. I think is the
Dallas.
only like actual full word we caught, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And any other figures on there I need to know about?
Oh, there are figures everywhere.
Especially like over here and over
There's some in this
there,
corner
the
here.
corner.
I will also
Yeah.
point out, sorry, I forgot to point this out. It will pick up your shadow. It's not a person laying on the ground. It's the absence of light that makes it look like there's something in front of something else.
All right.
Got it.
We'll make sure
Yeah.
not to have a false alarm with the shadows.
It's okay. All right, let's head everybody back to the corner.
We're still stay under the tree. Dun, 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 dun. Let me get you in there. Oh, actually, you need to walk a little over there, I think. A little bit further. Yeah, now I get you. Yeah. Nice. Wait. Oh.
Any phrases that stood out to you?
No, the only location I ever got was in Africa.
But if in the event we're going to actually capture a whistle, it doesn't always need to be in real time. I have a voice recorder, we have 2 cameras that record audio. If it's going to be there, it'll be there. If you're going to try this on your own and actually walk all the way through here with your voice recorders from your phone, just keep in mind that every local knows the story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single morning. My office is down here, my garage is that way. I have to pass the alley when I'm done with your data, and I always throw a whistle down here between 3 and 3:30 in the morning. So again, it's just something I do. Now, I can't take you all the way to the end. Let me tell you why. I've actually been kicked out of here. This is the fun part of the story, by the way. YAOYAO's laughing now. I can see it.
Looking forward to that part.
This alley didn't go all the way through this way. The reason why is because there was a wall about halfway between us and Cumberland Street, which is another reason why I like to stop here. That's because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. This used to be called Cow Alley. So they kept all the cows and chickens and goats and all that kind of stuff down here. That means that the bricks down on the other side are older than the ones we're standing on. Those bricks were sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave trial down there, and fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups all the way through there just for a history piece. Nothing paranormal, because I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. The kid's not there. November 26th, 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen with the tools I handed out. I know nothing's going to happen. I'm trying to shoot them along because I'm trying to be respectful to the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. We're outside this man's kitchen window. He comes out screaming. He's not very happy with me. My daughter thought it was great, by the way, because she was on a tour that night and her dad's getting yelled at. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I was tour on Thanksgiving because I worked for Walmart for a good part of 20 years in upper management. I was the guy who broke up the fights with the towels, everybody. So again, I'm not going to work on Thanksgiving ever again. Thank you very much. The next day was the 28th. These dates are irrelevant. I'm going to get to it. I called my partner that morning. I told him what happened with the mansion at the end of the street. He laughed at me just like my daughter did. And he said, "You're only allowed to go down halfway. That's as far as tours are allowed to go. Otherwise, you got to reroute the group." So I decide I'm going to reroute the group, but I don't believe in the next story. That's exactly what I told my group that night. It's Black Friday. I'm sold out again. And I told him, I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. I have never had anything happen up there, but we're going to wing it and see what goes on. My tickets were much cheaper back then, by the way. Let's just get into that. So anyway, before we left the space, somebody with a spirit box, here's the name Anne. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I went, well, hot damn, maybe we'll have something. We go up and around the corner. I told them what I did know about pirates, which wasn't much. And somebody else, here's the number 300. I have no idea what that means. I write it down, I research it when I'm doing their data. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
Oh, that's cool.
It is cool, but I was still pissed off. Let me explain. I have a master's degree in creative writing. Even when I'm writing fiction, and especially when I'm doing this, I need facts and data to be able to make sure what I have is legit. And my fiction stories are based off of real occurrences. So, with that, pirate stories come from pirate lore that were written 100 years after the fact of when these events allegedly occurred. My problem is I had to read more damn books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to figure out what we have is legit. It's a fun story. It's a big roll of the dice because it's a 50-50 shot that she'll actually be there. Just like any paranormal location, I can almost put my thumb on the Pinky Mansion. She's going to be there 6 out of 7 nights a week. This one is like 3 to 4 nights out of 7 nights a week. So again, it's a 50-50 shot. I'll explain more about that once we get there. But the gate behind me, I know you guys are looking at me like this guy talks way too damn much, but again, we're here just to stir shit up, right? The gate, remember I told you that the alley didn't go through this way. In the event there was a loser to the duel, and that light just blinked really heavy as soon as I pointed down here, just pointing that out, just weird stuff. If there was a loser, a dead guy, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the road. Little fun fact about Charleston. As far as the wrought iron work, it was probably put there in the early 1900s, but you can see that the archway is definitely part of the original wall. There was somebody who mentioned Andrew Jackson earlier in the presidential thing. So Jackson was actually said to have had a duel down here.
Oh, neat.
There's no proof of that because he was president, and things of that nature are normally hidden. So unless you can get into the presidential book in the presidential office, by all means, go look through there and see if there is. But there are bullet holes that are supposed to be riddled all through this wall, all the way down, based on some of the duels that have occurred here. I've yet to find any proof of that Jackson duel, nor do I know who it was with. So I have reached out to a couple of the local historians and gotten little to no response of anything relative to that at all. So they're like, yep, never heard of that one. I'm like, yeah, I hear that from locals all the time. They all say that Jackson had a duel down here. So again, no actual proof, but nice little fun rumor for you. By the way, this is one of the most picturesque places in all of Charleston. If you love taking pictures, this is one of my favorite spaces. I hate to give it up next year, but again, it's a staple, and you guys see it from every other ghost store. Every ghost store comes through here. So, are we ready to learn about Rated R Pirates, or do you guys want to tell me that you guys heard anything, saw any numbers? What do we have? Haven't heard anything. Nothing on your end either? All right, so you guys can keep those cameras running as we go up and around the corner if you'd like. We're just going up and around the corner. And we'll kind of see what we get up there. If we see other tours, we'll just stay out of their way. I'll be honest, I'm surprised there's not enough tours down here. Last night there was like 7 tours down here at the same time I was. It was craziness. So let's go learn about some Rated R Pirates. Let's do this. How you doing? Yeah, definitely unmute that as we kind of walk through too. Again, you're going to be the
I
weirdo.
think I pick up something.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Mine literally, this has stayed at like, oh, we're down. It stayed at between 1.8 and 2. Like the whole time. I was like,
Getting some nice plants on your video.
No, I saw something, but then it was gone. Yeah.
It was something, but I couldn't catch what it was.
What is that?
4A something. So we got music and 4A something.
We're talking about pirate treasure. Get your cash back.
I think I got my shadow. Our shadow. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Picture takers, like, it's not a full moon tonight, but you still have a pretty clear shot of that, especially it's not always lit up underneath on the church. So again, if you guys want to take a picture, but
That is pretty.
on a full moon night for us, it's normally sitting right next to the steeple. So I use that picture for social media all the time, especially when we have like super moons and stuff like that where it's super close.
So I got 94. And willingness to God. I think I'm getting like all the southern religious channels going.
Yeah, notice you guys didn't hear all of those religious terms until we got close to St. Peter's. That is something I regularly see.
Yeah.
So again, I like to point out, like, nobody gave me any religious terms yet until now.
Yeah.
Willingness to God in 94.
And I got music.
Yeah, and what's the number? 40.
4A.
4A, yeah.
Yeah.
You two got anything out of yours?
Oh, wow. Look at
cash
that.
back, cash back.
You're making me a stick figure.
Huh?
You're making me a stick figure.
Cherry?
Ooh.
That's interesting. Remind me to write that one down.
Okay.
Again, camera's rolling. Let's do this. So I think we're going to experiment with something with you here since you struggle with that spirit box a little bit. We're going to kind of take. Sorry, I didn't mean to point you out like that. But I want to make sure like you're having fun. And holding a camera isn't always the most fun unless you have a giant screen like YAOYAO. With this one, I don't always follow up with them real time because the screen is this big. And I put them up on YouTube so you guys can watch them on your TV set. I watch them on a computer screen so that way I can see everything. But we're going to do an experiment here. It's that extra piece of what I explained about the Estes method. So anybody else here not familiar with the Estes method? It's okay, I'll explain it. I just need to know.
Not familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
There.
All right, so the Estes method is basically where I'm going to take Jenna and I'm going to blindfold her and put noise canceling headphones over her ears, and she's not going to know the history of the space that we're going to. Now, this is at the next location, by the way. That's normally the big finale. And we're going to talk to her as if she were the ghost. Now, she's not going to know anything, but all she's going to do is tell me everything she hears out of her spirit box for 10 minutes, and it's going to look like, hopefully, a conversation. So it's about 30 to 35% accurate, but they've added something new, like I said. And we're going to experiment with that something new here, because we don't always need it to be part of the Estes method. Normally, this would all be meant for one person. So instead of the blindfold, they've actually come up with an app that uses AI imagery using the magnetometer of your phones to create a virtual reality piece. So what that does is it creates images that are hopefully going to be in relation to what you're hearing at the same time. So at our last location, I normally have two people, one blindfolded, one with a VR helmet on, which is going to be you, Kelly. So she's like, great. Super awesome. Can't hear things, now he's going to show me shit. Now, with that piece, I don't always experiment with it here because I've only been doing this VR piece for, we'll just say, maybe 2 months. So with this space, I would expect things that are going to be pirate in nature or even military. So I don't know what's going to come up out of it. All you're going to do is once I give us the history, we're going to go sit you down by that wall over there. We're going to set up the virtual cam for you, and you're going to sit down and tell us what you're seeing out of there while we're listening to the spirit box as kind of a group. Like you guys are going to all tell me what you're hearing in real time. And even if the two of you want to wander off because yours is a little bit noisier, that way they can focus on theirs.
Yep.
That's perfectly fine too. But we'll see what she's going to get out of those images, and you're going to get all of those images back. I'll show them to you once I take the VR headset off of Kelly, and that way you guys can see what goes on with those images. And then we're going to do it again at the next location. But we're going to do it with a double. So you'll be blindfolded, not know the history, and you're going to sit next to her, and you guys are going to become besties for 10 minutes while I give everybody else the history, and then we're going to come back and talk to you guys as if you were the ghost, and you're going to tell us what the ghost is wanting us to see. Is that fair?
Very cool.
It's really cool stuff.
Yeah.
It's a little on the freaky side sometimes. I will tell you that with the VR piece, it is actually more accurate than the Estes piece that's going to be happening. So I found that it's about 42% accurate as far as the images that come through are relevant to the space of where we are. So versus the 30 to 35% that comes out of what she's going to be telling us. The other cool thing for you guys is she has the one that's recording. You're going to know exactly what she's hearing because it'll be at the end of your recording. It'll be the last 10 to 12 minutes based on how quickly we can get her to shut her machine off once we pull her out. So we'll keep them under for 10 minutes, and yes, I can say keep them under because it feels like you're under. And Dane's like, I'm glad he's not choosing me because this is really weird shit. So with this location, just so you know, EMF in those corners is because we have two electrical poles, parking meters on the other side. I'm more happy about the back half of the spot on EMF, and definitely a 2.5 in here is exciting, believe it or not. It is not the Pinckney Mansion site for sure. Now, why are we here? Now that I'm kind of getting into that, Kelly's like, damn it, now I gotta prepare my brain for imagery. And you don't have to do anything, you just gotta tell us what you see. The little building up there, that's the Gunpowder magazine. And you can see there's another tour coming through here, which is exactly why I bring us here to the back. But those are not crosses on that building, those are earthquake bolts. If nobody told you what those are yet, they're turnbuckles. If we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, you can tighten them and it's supposed to stop the building from incurring any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. Yeah, and you guys are like, oh yeah, that sounds really smart.
Sounds cool.
Because really, if you just tighten it, all it's going to do is creak in more and cause more pressure on the building. But the reason I bring these up is because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. Like literally, the first set. You guys have seen them all over town in the form of lion heads and pineapples and all kinds of crazy Charleston charm bullshit. Even the apartment building behind it actually has earthquake bolts on all four sides. So those are those peach squares on every single floor. That's what those are. Now, the reason I bring this up is because that's the first that they put in. That's the oldest government building, finished in 1713. We're here simply because that building is something Anne Bonny would recognize from her own time era. This is what I call a familiar. For those of you that watch the TV shows, they use that Boo Buddy. You guys know what that is? That's the teddy bear with the little blinky light K2 meter in there. So they use that so that way the child would recognize the bear as a toy. It's the same principle here. There's not many buildings this old in Charleston. This is just something Anne would recognize. That's why it's a roll of the dice. We may get great stuff here. We may not get anything. We never know what's going to happen. So here's how it goes. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. You two chuckle over there. Go right ahead. I'm not a fan. But anyway, our history begins right in the middle of this building's construction. So it started in 1708. Here's how it goes. Young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? It's kind of a couple of twists in here. It's a crazy female pirate chick. So the three of them, by the way, are running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was the wife that she kicked them out of the damn country? So normally when the fellas show up with their ladies, and I usually say be nice to your ladies because they're going to kick you all the way up to Canada. But we have planes today, so it's much easier. They didn't have planes. They had boats. They landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So if you guys aren't familiar with our coast, I know they are because they cut through there to get down here today. Now, with that said, Dad bought a plantation up there in Georgetown. Mom dies pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from the plantation to keep things afloat. Now, hence the familiar building. Anne back home in Ireland was a badass back then, even when she was a little girl. They say when Anne was only 7, 8, or 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, there's no exact numbers anywhere except for exact dates. They say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. I can't tell you how many times I've had servant, knife, and belly show up on 3 different spirit boxes where you guys don't all know what's going on. So it happens all the time. Fast forward, the building's done in 13, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. Why? She's gonna fall in love with one of these guys and she can earn her freedom. Just like a man. It's a man's world during this time frame. First guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a handful, and that's what makes the story so interesting. We're gonna touch on all of them. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going. We mentioned her pirate name already. Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name comes from. However, James Bonny, the new husband, is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. She falls in love again a few years later. Guy number 2, John Rackham. Oh, by the way, speaking of Johns, we heard the name John when we were at the Pinckney Mansion site. I kind of missed over that because it was bleed over from Big John's. So anyway, back to John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy actually is. Calico Jack has his own ship. He has his own crew. And wants to be part of the crew. You can't put a female on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why? Keep it family friendly. I see the wheel spinning on all of you. It is bad luck. So, with that said, and I normally don't throw that question back out there if we have kids in the group because I get some really nasty answers out of that one. Kelly's like, oh my God, who's this guy? She just keeps closing her eyes. That just must be your nature, sorry. But anyway, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like my crew, you can be part of it. But you're going to be a lady in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But let's all put 2 and 2 together. We're all adults. She's a lady in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. And then they're going to get rid of Jack as captain. It's a democracy. They'll vote him off. They don't care. He drops her off in Cuba before she starts to show and says, have the baby here. These are friends of mine. They'll help you out. Come back later. We'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, returns without a child. We have no idea what happens to the child. So ask all you want to. I don't have the answer. None of my research has ever found it. So she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. Now everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship. To make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew that he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship, trying to be pirates. Yes, true story. I know, right? So this young lady's name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure because of the time frame, but the British find out where they are. They send an entire fleet of Navy ships to come take down one measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. 1-bullet guns are not going to take on a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested. And by the way, they only use those guns because they didn't know how to use cannon jets because they haven't been pirates for very long. As they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." So the word dog shows up all the time on communication devices. The judge wants to see the two quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The two ladies go in front and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge does not give a shit that they are female. He is still going to hang them because they're still pirates. So if they scream out to the judge, "We plead our bellies," meaning they're claiming to be pregnant. They're trying to save themselves again. You cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina. He has all of his Irish money. He was an attorney back home. He bails out Anne and brings her home. And she remarries. It's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't really know for certain what happened to her after her pirate career. There are many, many rumors about her, and I'm not about to spread even further. Some say she stayed here. Some say that she went up to Virginia. The one common thing I did find was that she did remarry and had 4 children. That's the only 2 things that I'll tell you back. Mary Read dies 5 months later in April of 1721 from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books will tell you it was fever. I call bullshit. Let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? We're talking pirates. I'm not going to assign questions here. We're going to do the picture thing with the imagery. But with the questions, in case you two want to wander off or anybody else wants to wander off and see what the pictures come up as later, that's perfectly fine too. But the things I left out on purpose, again, because I don't want to assign questions, this is not the prominent English woman that we were discussing. The name of Anne Bonny's parents, that's the father and the mistress. I did not tell you what their names were. Yes, I do know them. Everybody likes to ask me, well, do you know what they are? Well, hell yeah, I know what they are. Why the hell can I verify it? The name of Calico Jack's ship. I did not tell you what that was either. The name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland. So that's an interesting piece that's been coming up more and more. And the color of her hair, which you already have because you gave me the word cherry. So, kind of what color is a big red barn? Blood. It's almost the same principle.
And they were playing paper to red.
There we have it. And I normally give that question because it's a 1-syllable answer to somebody that's struggling with a spirit box. The funny thing is I used to use REM pods out here that detect motion. And the only way they go red is if somebody is touching the antenna. And we would get that answer like, "Hey, Ann, tell us what color your hair was," and we would get a direct red on the REM pod.
Wow.
And it would only come when we asked that question. We had it, I don't know, a couple of dozen times over a few weeks, and then it just stopped doing it. So it was kind of like, okay, verified, got it. Now we know it's not the space, but I don't use REM pods anymore because they're pretty much pointless outside. It detects motion, so if we're walking around and you're like sidestepping, it's going to pick up all of the motion from your feet and kind of vibrate it right through the machine. So the device that Scarlett's using actually comes with a REM pod built into it, or you can order the version that I have. I actually traded it in so somebody wasn't tempted to use it and give me a bunch of false positives. We're not indoors where I can set it down and say, if you're here, make it go to blue or green or whatever color I want it to go to kind of get a specific answer, but we're not going to use it because we're outdoors. I use those indoors only. So let's go experiment with Kelly. Let's see what we can get out of this. You ready for this?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's get you sat down on the wall.
You wanna wander around?
Yeah. Oh. Something over there.
Over there.
Where the like
yeah,
the earthquake something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's like up there.
Look, someone's shooting lasers out of this
Oh
window.
wow,
at them.
look at that.
Yeah, she was floating. Ooh. Yeah, that's an interesting
Wow.
person dancing over there.
Yeah. That's quite something.
Did you understand the Essex method that they're doing or whatever?
Oh, I think it's, one person cannot hear the question, but hear whatever.
Oh, but sees the answers, kind of. Got it. Is that them right over there in the dark? Yeah. Why do you think? Do you think this building used to be much smaller? Do you see how there's that triangle there?
Yeah.
Comes down?
No. Oh, I see. So there used to be a building here, like a house or
there
something.
probably was one on this side.
Yeah.
You're right. That makes a lot of sense. What was that? I didn't catch it.
It's actually
One something.
7.
Yeah, we got 1 and 7. Are we looking for 1, 7, and I think it was 1, 7, and 22. All right, remember that. So you're gonna have to tell them.
Well, there's definitely a dancing human here, and it's a giant.
Oh yeah. So I mean, 1, 7, 22. It could be 17, 22. Anything happen in 17, 22? I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't know. We're gonna have to ask him.
Well, 7 is the only clear word I hear.
Well, yeah, I could be wrong. It could have just been 7. But I thought I got 1, 7, and 22.
Sounds like Jack to me.
Jack, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't trust myself on that. That sounds like help me to me.
It did sound a little like help.
Hey, I've got another dancing giant here. Come here, come here. But now it's just,
Why?
yeah, see that?
I do see that.
That's before those people walking by. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we gotta ask about what the name of Anne's mother and father are. Hey, Anne. What are your mother and father's names? Hey, Anne. Where did you grow up in? Is she from Ireland? Ireland. Thank you. What was the name of that city? There wasn't a city name.
Yes. I heard Oregon. We heard tested, and then when we asked what was tested, it said having a relationship.
Stay close to me.
I'm close, I'm close. I heard Maya again. It sounded like Vermont.
That sounds like Vermont.
That sounded like Vermont. Wait. Y'all getting this side?
I think I might have lost to the
Oh
dancing
yeah, we need
giant.
to know the name of Calico Jack's ship too. So
Mm.
Anne, if you're listening, we would love to know the name of that ship. Or where you're from in Ireland. Or your parents' names.
Hey, there's another thing over
Oh,
there.
you see something?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's spooky.
It's flickering.
Hey, Anne. Hi, yep. What town did you grow up in Ireland? Indy. Could you say that again? What town did you grow up in Ireland? Yikes. Did you catch it down, babe? Maybe it was some Gaelic and so it's hard to understand. Hey, Anne. I'm sorry, I'm trying really hard to understand. We got
Quite a lot of things.
the
Number
numbers.
7.
Well, okay, so we both heard 7,
Yeah.
and I heard 1 and 22. And so I heard 1, 7, and 22. YAOYAO only heard the 7.
Yeah.
And
Something sounds very much like Vermont.
yeah, something that sounded like Vermont. And the word my showed up twice.
So 7 stands out to me for a number of reasons.
Okay, good,
Oh.
because we both heard it.
Yeah. Very clear.
So normally, it's weird because you actually have 2 clues. So first off, I'll tell you that Dane heard the names John and the name Andrew.
Okay.
John Calhoun is buried on the other side of that wall, who served under Andrew Jackson.
Ooh.
He was the 7th vice president.
Wow, that's neat.
Now, you also heard the number 22,
Yeah.
so I don't know where this is going to tie in yet. Dr. Ladd's birthday normally shows up in doubles because
Okay.
it's July 7th, 7-7.
Mm.
But he was also 22 when he died.
Oh, interesting. Oh, right, yeah.
There's like a woman in a white robe in a field of flowers, almost like a.
I got the word white.
I just heard it.
Yeah, white. Should write that down just in case.
Time frame? What do you think, Kelly?
Ooh, I have no idea.
What's that?
I know, it was really cool.
Almost like a Virgin Mary type.
Okay. The Vermont piece may tie things up. I don't know. I'm going to dive in and see if Vermont ties into one of those 2 stories.
Okay, okay.
But I do know that he is actually buried in Alexandria, Virginia.
Oh, okay.
So we
Cool.
had people like hear the name, like I just heard the name Alexandria. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, that's because that's where Doc is buried.
That makes sense.
So
Alexandria is a nice place.
is it?
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah,
we
the
we
old
lived there
town
for a couple
part.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
So again, I don't know if that's what you guys heard tied to what Dane is hearing, or if it's tied to Dr. Ladd stuff. I don't
Got
know.
it,
That's
got it.
where it can kind of like can get a little hairy. I want to see what else is being heard and that kind of thing.
All right, we'll let you
Yeah.
know if we hear anything else.
There's also something sounds like help me.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
YAOYAO heard a help me.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Don't
a
know?
lot of trophy stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I got your shadow.
Oh, thank you.
Your shadow's dancing. It's pretty cute. Let me get my shadow here too.
Oh, yeah. You want me to move so it sees? Oh, there it is.
It's like we have our. Wait, wait.
Music.
What's that? Oh, I see my giant dancer again.
It's really quiet. Anne, where are you from in Ireland? Anne? Yeah, we'd really love to know where in Ireland you grew up. It's quiet now. really like to know your parents' names. Laura? It's hard to tell. Hard to tell. Not convinced. Did you hear Laura? Or not?
Yeah,
You did?
yeah. It
Is
sounds
that what
like
it was, you thought?
2 syllables, starts with like L kind of thing.
Yeah. Could have been Laura.
Those are children.
Looks like a family photo to me.
4 children. 4 alive children.
Children, yes.
Interesting.
You did ask. Oh my gosh, that's not what it looked like for me. It looked very
Like that.
like that, yes. I didn't see any of the rest of that.
Interesting. Does look like a hospital.
Huh.
So, you guys want to see the images?
Sure.
So she has 3, right?
Yep.
3 total. So
Yep.
the first one, she thought she saw some water. So Dane, I know you kind of sitting down over there. But this is she probably saw more of a close up of that. So that to me almost looks like water like running through a hospital. So we were discussing the doctor a little bit. Not that he would have a facility like this. You're getting the point because it's 1700s. But again, to me, it's still medical. I mean, it's very vague as far as like if it's a tie-in or not. But the water piece, when she said that, I'm like, well, we do get a lot of aquatic terms when we're talking about pirates. You know, we'll hear boat and ocean and those kind of things. But this to me is just weird. So until I get it on a computer screen, it may even look completely different on a computer screen from there. The next image she said looked like a painting of a woman in white. So almost looks like a nun to me. You said looks like a Virgin Mary type person. So do I find this relevant here? I have no idea who this is. So I'm just going to point that out there. Last but not least, I said that there was 4 children. I told you that Anne Bonny had 4 living children that we knew of. She saw a full-blown family portrait.
Wow.
I don't know who these people are, but I can only think of that Anne had 4 children that were known to live. I don't know what happened to the first child in Cuba. So again, don't know who this is. I can't make out any of these letters. I was just, when she was under, I was kind of telling her, like, I love to take these images and put them in Google Lens. If there's something in there that I can't identify, like if there's a bird or a flower, it'll tell me what that specific thing is. And then I'll see if there's some kind of meaning behind the white-feathered raven, you know, for that particular location. So this one to me right now is the only thing that is even remotely close to being relevant to our location or that Anne was even here at all. Because it's just a simple number of children that are there in the picture. I don't know any of their names or validate that she only had 4 children or any less than that or more than that. So it is all speculation, unfortunately. So here's what I'll cover what I'm actually am excited about. So you heard John and Andrew.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, these 2 heard the number 7. Do you know what vice president number John Calhoun was?
I'm gonna guess the 7.
The 7. However, they also heard the number 22. Here's where things can get hairy. So we will normally hear the number 7 in doubles in this location, depending on where it relates. So double 7s usually relates to Dr. Ladd because that's his birthday, July 7th, 7-7. So if we get double 7s, it's usually an automatic tie. But we also have the number 22, which is the age that Dr. Ladd was when he died from his gunshot wound from his duel. So we did get the city or the state of Vermont that you heard as well. Who heard? Oh, you guys heard Vermont. Sorry, I was trying to remember who got what. But you guys heard buried in as we were discussing Vermont. So I don't know who's buried in Vermont that we were just discussing. So Andrew Jackson, does anybody know where he's buried? I have no idea. I don't either.
I
So
don't.
I have them all written down of everything you guys
Probably not.
have heard. Like this one is intriguing to me because you guys are actually kind of like stumping me, and this is the stuff I live for. I don't think there's anything else super. But the John and Andrew, when you said, "Oh yeah, I heard them separate," I'm like, "Oh, I know you did," because they're 2 separate people. So again, if we get, and what's weird is we normally only hear from Calhoun in the month of March because he was born in March and he died in March. So I normally don't even bring it up until the month of March. You guys are getting my point. But the fact that he heard John and Andrew and then 7, I'm kind of like, what do we have here? So hopefully whatever is being missed in real time on your end is something that I'm going to be like, oh shit, that's because of Calhoun. But that side of the cemetery, by the way, you can visit during the day. Anytime there's a presidential anybody that's buried in a cemetery, they leave it open to the public, you know, during daylight hours. You can't visit it at night, of course. But he's literally on the other side of that wall in a sarcophagus. Any other tour will tell you about that simply because they moved him back and forth several times because the other side of the cemetery across the street is for native Charlestonians only. And they thought he was from here, but he's not. So they shuffled his ass back and forth trying to figure out where the hell he was supposed to go. Turns out he's not from here. He only lived here for a very long time. So he actually ended up on the non-native side. So very interesting point there. Let's cover the answers to, and we're going to be doing this experiment with Kelly again, and then Jenna's going to be under the Estes method at the next location. Do you guys remember the heated warning I gave you guys at the top of the night? This is part of the reason why. Let me tell you. 2 years ago, in the month of September, I took my group to the back like I always do, and it was about this temperature, so no reason for anybody to be feeling ill or anything. But the kid next to me, he starts to faint. He's going down like a wet noodle. When I say kid, he's like 21, 22 years old. He's younger than me. But anyway, so I have to pick this kid up by his armpit, and so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him, and we brought him over here to this wall, sat him down, I got him some water, there's a vending machine across the street, and I then told them the story of Anne Bonny the same as I told you. This used to be the last stop. Told you I change this every year. So I used to tell like 3 stories here and spread everybody out. Let's go have a blast. Last hurrah. These 2 guys pull me aside. Nick, we have to tell you something. What's going on? We are 2 transgender males. I had 2 females dressed like males, just like Anne and Mary in the story on the tour. This is the weird shit that I see. It made sense, but it's still completely unexplainable. If I have psychics or mediums on the tour and they let me know about it, I make sure that they do not get a spirit box. I don't want to interfere with any messaging that they're already getting. If they don't tell me about it and I give them one by accident, I can guarantee you they're not going to make it past the Pinkley Mansion site. Too much EMF, too many types of different messages coming through. Can't tell you how many times it's actually happened where a psychic is on the gurney telling me, I wanted to tell you, I'm a medium. I'm like, super great. And they're on their way to the emergency room because they couldn't hack it. So again, some people like to come see me to try to test their abilities. Self-proclamation, I can usually debunk most of those people, but somebody that does this for a living and has been, credentialed, will say there's a lot of them. They're just hard to find. They're not always on TV or on TikTok or whatever doing their card readings, but at the same time, those people that come here and like, oh, I'm a sensitive and I'm empathic and all these things, okay, super great. What does that mean? I withhold more shit because I want to make sure like what they're picking up on. Like somebody will come in here, I'm like, oh, I'm sensing this. I'm like, yeah, nothing like that occurred here. Most of them get pissed off and leave, just so you know. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm just honest, and that's the way it is. So let's cover the answers of Anne Bonny, and then we're going to go blindfold some people, and we're going to see how this goes. Hopefully what you're going to be seeing is going to correlate with what she's saying. So that's kind of how that will work.
Very cool.
Will I hear what she's saying?
Yeah, just like you and I were talking. You're going to be sitting right next to each other. We're just going to be standing around watching
Very
you.
good.
We're going to be filming the whole thing for you. This is one of the few pictures of Anne Bonny that you can find of her where she actually has a shirt on. The reason why is she used to bare her breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. I told you she was a badass. So basically, if she killed somebody before they died, she'd go, ha ha, you were just killed by a girl. That's kind of how that went down. We have to remember she's wearing male pirate garb. Obviously, her hair color is red. We kind of already knew that from Cherry. But the names of her parents, William Cormac, Mary Brennan. This was not another subliminal trick with the Mary. We just happen to have 2 in the story. Now, Mary Brennan was a servant for the Cormac family, and now you can all speculate and assume and be correct on how Dad met Mom. So again, that's a whole nother 30-minute scandal we don't need to cover. I just like to point it out because times were a little weird back then, especially over in Ireland. So we're talking the 1690s at that point. The city she grew up in, and nobody heard it specifically, but it was Cork, Ireland. So that term has been coming up more and more as well. I also like to show you what Calico Jack looked like, simply because it's funny to know how Johnny Depp's character was based off of. Calico Jack was named that based off the jackets that he wore. They came from the British captains that he killed. His father was a tailor, which means textiles are very important to the Rackham family. Calico Jack basically means fancy jacket. Depending on which pirate book you're reading, some people will even tell you that the term fancy pants is also come from Calico Jack as well. I think Jack and jacket make a whole hell of a lot more sense, so I like to stick to that one. As far as the name of his ship, it is called the Kingston. I do not expect the word Kingston to come out of your guys' spirit boxes, maybe yours. Yours picks up more disembodied voices, and not so it might pick up disembodied voices on top of radio chatter more so than theirs. Got it. Not that theirs won't pick up disembodied voices, but yours will do it for us more often. So the word king would suffice out of your 2 spirit boxes. So if you asked Calico Jack or Anne what the name of Jack's ship was and you heard the word king, I'd be okay with that. It's kind of, again, what color is a big red barn? Blood. And it'll also pick up words before and after your guys' messaging that you need. What color is a big red barn? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. We don't need Rudolph the nosed reindeer. We just need the red. So we still have the message, and you may pick up things before and after. So that's why when you guys like, I heard buried in. The in is important at this point, but the word buried, we were talking about Vermont. So again, I don't know who's buried in Vermont, but you're getting my point of like what were the before and after words, because I don't know which one is going to be the key word of where I need to put my focus. So I think that covers all of the pirate stuff. Did you guys ask anything else extra and get any answers? Okay. You guys didn't go rogue with anything?
Well, I mean, we asked, we
did,
just
but-
didn't get like anything. Because
What were you asking?
I did ask how many children did Anne have.
Okay. And no numbers came up?
No numbers came up.
It was not 22.
Yeah, it
Just
wasn't
in case
1722.
David, water, love, and birth. Not together.
Yeah. They kept getting like 3, 30.
3, and then it was a bunch of 3s, and then they said 30, and then it was 330 together.
I heard water twice.
Water twice. The name David shows up a lot. I looked into this David character.
I wouldn't think it'd be a very common name. I mean,
It's David.
in the 1700s, 1800s, was it?
I mean, we just walked by a whole cemetery full of people. And I've looked into all of those cemeteries and tried to find like a relevant why we would hear from a David.
Yeah.
Nothing. I got nothing. The 3s do make sense to me though. Let me tell you why. Remember I told you guys about that murder mystery that I'm going to be looking into? That actually occurred in 1933. So the fact that you're basically hearing the 3s along the way here, the murder actually occurred 1 block this way, but she died at a hospital that way. So she was taken when she was killed here to another location before she, So it's there. I want to see if something else pops up with it. I'm not going to give anybody any other details because if you start saying things about it or if you see images relevant to that, maybe we have a good connection of like, hey Nick, it's getting close. The funny thing is the anniversary of that exact date, I'm not going to give you that, is coming up very soon as well. So again, I'll be interested to see if any of these numbers pop up where you guys are listening. What do you got on there already, Ben?
I've got how scared and grandmother.
Grandmother.
Yeah.
Like
How
how scared?
scared.
Yeah,
The
3
question.
3 words. How scared and grandmother.
Write it
I'll
down.
get back to you if I get more information.
A great
I
reporter.
don't want to be how scared, so let's go.
I want to just make sure no grandmother's here, right?
Not the grandpa.
There's a lot that goes on in this space. So you already know how that works. I'll give you my phone once we come back. I'm going to give you a blindfold.
Grandmother dog.
I have some headphones right here, so Scarlett is going to have to help you put these on because you will be blindfolded.
Okay.
Not yet. So what's going to happen is I'm going to give them all of the gear that they're going to use, and then the 5 of us are going to go over to that monument. I'm going to give you guys the history and come back, and then we're going to see what goes on with the gear
So just shout out as it's coming to me.
when we come back.
Well, how am I gonna know if I'm blindfolded?
You're not going to be blindfolded until we come back.
That's way over.
Do not put any of the gear on until I come back.
Okay.
Simply because if
Okay.
I'm blindfolding women in the middle of a dark park,
I know.
it never looks good. So, there'll be a couple of things
Placate.
you guys will need to know, like kind of like tips and tricks of what to expect. You kind of
to
already got the
appease
gist of this, which is why we practiced already. But we'll talk more about your end of things. Just chat amongst yourselves. No blindfolds. I will help you with the blindfolds when I come back.
Okay.
Because again, undoing
Good.
that thing is like origami. Because it can be a little nuts. You guys ready to learn the history?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go over here.
I just know I'm about to be yelling.
That's okay. We're going to keep you calm.
I told her if she says anything too weird, she's not coming home.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. Yeah, you're going to have a job later, Dane. All right, so the first time I came here, again, after Halloween, I had a small group, only 2 people. It was cold that night, everybody canceled. And we just used the spirit box. I had the wordless generator and EMF detector. It's basically all we were using. The young lady using the spirit box, as soon as we walked in here, I didn't know what to find because there's a million monuments in here. 1828 is what she heard, very specific year, and the name Henry. I was using that guy right there. It had the name Tim on it. This guy behind me, this bust, is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. Yeah, no shit. So I was like, ah, damn, there's my ghost, right? So here's how his story goes. It's very quick and brief, so we can get over there and get to work. He was sick through most of his life. He was a writer. These are the two major things you need to remember about him. Being born in 1828, he obviously wants to go fight in the Civil War for the Confederates. He goes out to the battlefield, and his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they sent him home. Knowing he was a writer, said, go be the voice of the war. Go tell people what's going on out here in the battlefield. So he came home, started writing poetry about what was going on out there. He became known as the laureate of the Confederacy. For us writers, that's a pretty prestigious title, so pretty big deal. Gets a job at a newspaper, he's publishing things, he's doing well, and he has a son. His son's name is Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, but he dies 9 months later on October 23rd. So very sad for him and his wife Katie, not Sarah. Nice try. So we do get the name Katie out of them, by the way. But with that, a couple years go by and he's not writing as much as he normally does, and his colleague friend from college realizes this. He's another writer. His name is Paul Hamilton Hayne. And he says, you know what, you're not writing as much, you need to get back on track. Go use my cottage out in Columbia. Leave Katie behind with her parents and they can mourn here in Charleston. So he goes out there and he writes his last words. Beholder of brief mortality, meaning dear person with short life. And then he coughed and it landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis and he died right on the page. The interesting thing about all of this is dear person with short life, cough, cough, death, cough, blood stain. That blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. Yes. We show this book one day a year at the Charleston Library Society. You have to be a member of that library to be able to go see it. Only on Halloween is the only day that they show it. However, the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you what the page looks like, and then we're going to go talk to them as if she is Henry Timrod. When we do go over there, we're going to stay pretty tight-knit, like we're going to stay really close to them. In case other tours like to come through here, I don't like them to see that I'm blindfolding people and stealing my ideas. Right? Could be a couple of other things too, right? So here's the blood book. This is what we call it. Yep. Beholder of brief mortality, cough, cough, death.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I will tell you that one of the images we had come through, I'll just say 2 weeks ago at this point, we had a very eerie image. And the image was, it looked like a child, but a crocheted child. And it was in this exact shape.
Ooh.
Yeah, very weird, creepy stuff. Somebody pointed it out from my guest. They're like, that looks just like the blood stain. I'm like, oh shit. So I made this opaque and laid it over top so we can see how close it was. It was pretty damn close.
Oh,
So I was pretty cool with that. But we're going to stay pretty close-knit. I'm going to give them a few tips and tricks. I'm going to tell them that it'll be okay to answer any yes-no questions simply because Jenna's not going to know what I'm asking. So if she hears it, I want her to tell me what she hears. Obviously, Kelly's going to be telling us in real time what she's seeing. So we may get one image out of this. We might have 10. I'm only going to keep them under for 10 minutes. You're going to have a couple of cues just because you're going to be kind of like my checker because I'm never going to touch her. You are. So when we're done, she'll get a tap on the leg. I'm going to explain all this to her. If she's too loud, which I'm guessing she might be, I know we get pretty loud person. We do have neighbors nearby, so that's why we try to keep it pretty calm. You're going to tap her on the shoulder, and then if she's not talking loud enough, which I don't think will be an issue, you lift up her earmuff and just say the word louder, so that way she knows to actually start talking. So I'll go over there and give them a few tips and tricks of what to expect. I think Kelly's already got the gist of this, so she's going to be perfectly fine. She just needs my phone in there. I had guests texting me something. This is so funny. On my way here, a guy texted me that there's one of my tours that sold out, and his wife had sent him my information like a month ago to book for that specific day, the only day they're going to be here, and now she's pissed at him, and now he's asking me if he can join that tour. And I'm like, it's a private girl's birthday party. Like it's like her Sweet 16 kind of thing. So
It'd be awkward if you tagged along.
I'm going to still call the mom and see what she says. There are technically 3 tickets left. I just made it private because she's bringing all of her 16-year-old girlfriends with her. So I was like, oh, let me just be a nice guy and cut off the last 3 tickets. It is a Saturday. I normally only take 10 people, but I can go up to 12. So it was a matter of like, what do I do with this? I'll ask the mom. I'll put it in her hands, see what she wants to do. But yeah, that's why I was checking my phone on the way here. We're definitely going to film this the entire time. So Jenna's definitely going to want this for her socials, and I'm sure Kelly's going to be like, what the hell happened? I want to know. So, but yeah, definitely with yours specifically, because the stickmen can kind of get in the way for the regular footage. If you want to do like small 360s while we're all doing this, so that way we kind of get a little panorama around in case somebody wants to pop up. We have had that interaction with raise your right hand type mentality here. So that's actually, this location is a reason why I have that. Because somebody else brought their big chunky one with them, and we had a full 8-minute interaction here.
Ooh.
That's cool.
Yeah, very cool stuff. All right, let's go talk to a ghost. Let's do this.
already. So I'm gonna kind of walk around, like loops.
I think like slow.
Yeah.
Well, because they were coming so fast, I forgot the first one.
That actually happens quite a bit. A lot of times when I have my larger groups and everybody's working on something or bouncing around with everybody, they may not get as much time as what I spend with all of you. So they're literally taking notes on the phone. Yeah, I'll take it. So that way they don't forget what they
I
heard.
forgot the first one. I don't remember what it was.
The only one I'm kind of interested in is the Franklin, and only because that's weird. I don't know what it means, but I'll definitely take that.
Okay, what kind of creepy things are you getting over there?
Oh, I got burn and steamy. The most recent, yeah.
Yearly?
Mm.
What was that word you getting over
Yearly,
there?
yeah. More precise.
More precise, yearly, and steamy. Let's make our own story.
Grandmother dog.
So this acts like a Batman mask. It doesn't go all the way around your head. Obviously your ears go through here. I'm going to give you a few tips of what to expect out of this, and then I'll tell you when to put the gear on. So, a couple of things. I'm never going to touch you, Scarlett. So when we're done, because we're only going to keep going for 10 minutes, you're not going to be able to hear us. So she's going to tap you on the leg when we're done. So just it'll be a light tap, right? You're not going to startle the shit out of it.
I can't even post. Tap.
If you're talking too loud, she will tap you on the shoulder.
Okay. I'm probably gonna.
We figured.
Yeah.
You're trying to chuckle about it. That's okay.
I blame
I
my
told
mom.
you they were talking about us over there.
Yeah,
Well,
you
the
did.
reason we have neighbors. We're in a neighborhood, so we want to keep it near our family. So if we can't hear you, she may lift your earmuff and just say the word loud.
This is suspicious. I
You
got
will be
scared
telling
twice.
us what you're hearing in real time. So just
The
talk.
dictionary lists 91,000 words. What are the
Even if
chances
it's
you
a
get
yes
scared
no
twice?
answer, tell me what you're hearing. You don't know what question I'm asking. I might ask the ghost if I'm wearing a black vest.
What cosine
I'm expecting a yes. So again, just say whatever you hear. If
gives
it's a
you-
weird sound,
I'm guessing
so
it's
it might be a
like,
car horn.
I'm guessing this is
any
behind the
weird sounds,
scenes. It's probably
just tell us those things.
wood
Too.
tap.
I just heard
And it's turning.
maybe like weird sound.
It's turning radiating
10 minutes,
into
we'll keep you
numbers,
done,
and then we're
and
doing
we'll
it.
tap you out. In the event
Because you
that I
got
don't
a
feel like
cosine
we have
similarity
anything going on here,
numbers.
and I'll be honest with you, the month of October is very rough for our
Steamy
ghost.
and burn.
So based on
scared now.
his own death, and then the other family member's death that I told you all about, they both happened at this particular month. So it has been very quiet this particular past 2 weeks. So I don't know what to expect out of all of this. So with you, it's going to be blindfold first, then earbuds. Once you find a comfortable spot for your earbuds, like as far as volume, don't touch your spirit box. We want to make sure you're not cheating.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of teenagers, not that you are, will turn the volume down and then literally answer weird random questions. Like if I think they're cheating, I'll say, what color is a bluebird? Blue. Like that kind of stuff will pop up. Yeah, I catch them every time. So I just ask people, no matter what age group they are, don't touch your damn spirit box. So once you find a comfortable volume, just go ahead, blindfold up. Let's do this.
You get my ears on.
All right. Kelly already knows what she's doing. Just describe to us what you saw. You did a really good job last time, so I don't think I need to explain this any further. You're going back under. Going back to the other side, Kelly. You ready?
I'm ready.
Sorry, I have to set it up by looking this way, so that way when she looks at it, she knows what she's doing. Ben, how's our words?
Oh, we got scared twice.
Scared twice. Who's
But
scared?
we also got joy
At the end of each meeting.
and type.
Type?
Mm-hmm.
I like that word. You know why?
We got burn.
Like the house was burned down.
We need some headphones. Both of us those noise canceling headphones over top of her ears. The minute she starts talking is when we will begin. We should probably set her down. So it is 11:21. Sure, it doesn't. Just kind of need them to start with it. All right, Henry.
Talk wolf.
Henry, can you give us something relevant to your occupation, please, if you're here? You gave us the word type already, but I don't believe you would have had typewriters back then.
Did you miss me?
Oh, yes, you have not been very active at all. So let's kind of, let's get back on track here. Can you give us something relevant to your occupation? This is Jenna and Kelly. You can hear and see whatever you want us to hear and see. You want to give us one of the tools that you used? You want to tell us what you did for your occupation? I will take any of those things to prove that you're here.
December 2000.
give us the specific number of your birthday, Henry? Henry?
Heart.
Henry? What is your exact birthday? You said December.
Hold me.
Henry, funny story. You have the same birthday as my ex-wife. It is not my favorite day. However, I know exactly when your birthday is. Can you give us the exact number? December what?
1790.
Wow, very specific. Henry, December is also your son's birthday. Were you referring to him? That's a yes/no question. No images, though? Get on the ball, kid. Henry, I will take either one of those
I
numbers.
heard a phone dialing.
Okay. Henry did not have a phone, just so you guys know. Henry, are you here alone? Or did you bring somebody with you? How's our words been?
I did get the word born while we were talking about birthdays.
Pretty and fulfilling.
And I got lust and rim.
Less than what?
Rim? R-I-M?
Henry, are you asking us to talk about your wife?
February 1st.
She was born in February. I'm 99% positive. And why would we hear February in the month of October? Henry, can you give us your wife's name? We'll take some images too, Henry. Don't forget about Kelly over here. She wants to see stuff.
On the door.
Henry, what images do you want us to see tonight? Any bloody images, relevance to your death, we will take them. Ben, just shout them out, it's okay.
I got innovation and lab. Lab is an L-A-B.
Wow.
Henry?
Season.
Which season? I'm asking very simple questions tonight. I'm asking for dates, which are numbers. Other people are sleeping there. There's only been one other night where he didn't give us any. And that absence out of that guy kind of tells me I don't know what's happening, to be honest with you. He's watching it quite a bit and I can verify it. Unlike Jen. Kind of a mixed bag right now. Henry, do you see the gray smoke?
Yep. That's all I see.
Henry, we are running out of time.
Money.
We're running out of money. We know. You were poor.
Grow.
Henry, can you put an image inside the screen box? We'd like to see something about your occupation. That could be a book, age,
2.
pen,
Website. Henry, let's go back to your birthday. Can you give us the number of your birthday? With you.
laundry.
Did you get?
No, I think it's still loud.
Anything else? Still on that?
Yeah.
She's so still right now. She's creeping me out. What about you, Kelly?
I'm just waiting patiently.
It's like, oh, she awake. She
I
awake.
usually watch breathing, but she's been so still. I'm like, did her heart stop?
We're past her bedtime. This is.
Henry, are you done talking to us? Would you like us to leave?
Eight, nine, six.
8. December 8th was his birthday.
Late night.
Were we not just talking about that?
No.
Yes, we were.
Galaxy.
Oh.
That's usually only about 20%.
Company.
There's a lot of good company here. Let's go to your son's birthday. Can you give us that? Oh, better yet, what sound are we hearing right now? What sound is that we're getting from the church?
Consistent.
These are the same questions I pretty much ask every night. It's vague, but it's there. Henry, what sound did we just hear from the church?
Where's the words?
That's what it sounded like.
And she started to say something, but she stopped. Henry, can you verify the sound we just heard from the church, please? You could show us an image of it. Kelly would be very grateful. She's falling asleep in there.
Cheers.
Henry, we're going to wrap this up. Can you tell us good night, please?
Those people.
Scary.
Henry, can you tell us good night?
Weekend.
No, in the absence of pictures, tells me even more. Did you get any numbers by the way?
No.
No. Yep, Kelly, take that thing off your face. Wow, I am.
Oh, I did get the word end.
When?
Like just right now.
Just now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
But the fact that we had no images whatsoever.
No.
Don't get up yet. I don't need baby giraffes falling on the ground. Sometimes you guys are a little disoriented. Oh, now we get an image. I don't know what it is. It's down here. It almost looks like some kind of. It is.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't either. It's gonna fade away here in a minute. Some kind of latch. Chain. I have no idea. I'm gonna Google lens that one just to see if I can get anything out of it. So, what do you guys think? What's that image on the bottom?
Some kind of a brooch or something.
Is that a stethoscope?
It looks like it, except for it looks like a shell or something like that instead of a. I mean, up until that. Oh, maybe.
So weird.
Oh. To me, it actually looked like a pearl
Yeah.
and some kind of metally
Oh,
like
yeah.
chain. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking like a necklace or something.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the detail that it gives us. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know where this shit comes from. It's so crazy. Oh well, we got something. You just missed it. So, where you're, I'm going to call this slightly successful at this point. So I normally have a unsuccessful, slightly, very. Those are my 3 categories. This is right in the middle, only because I have to verify a few things. You did give us the word December, and then gave us the numbers 896, I believe it was, later on. Henry's birthday was December 8th. You also gave us February 1st. We had a couple of other terms that kind of clued me in that we may have been getting. He wanted us to talk about his wife, and I'm almost 99% sure she was born in February. I just don't know the exact date. The year 1790, the only thing that I can come close to anything being close to that, because you did get the word born.
I did.
Nope, that still doesn't make sense. 1790, we are in George Washington Park. So, again, he's an active military leader at this point in time during 1790. Is he born in that time frame? No. But at the same time, damn it, I'm trying to find where that 1790 is, because that's very specific. The gentleman we were talking about died in 1867. So he wasn't very old. Oh, that doesn't make sense either. Sorry. This is where I think, guys, like my mind is going in a million different directions. But he was actually only 38 years old when he passed away. So unfortunately, you two are going to have to wait for their actual regular history. The only thing I will give you a quick gist on is we were talking about a writer who had tuberculosis, and on he was writing his last words, and he coughed up blood that looks just like a man writing at his desk.
That was
that was his last mark that he left on this earth, and we show it every year on Halloween at the Charleston Library System because it is still here. So pretty cool stuff. I tried to get in touch with him. He is very timid. I was hopeful tonight because there wasn't anybody else in here. Normally, if there's a lot of tours in here, it's dead silence. Like everything that this person says means nothing. But we will get 5 to 8 images that are also completely random that I don't know what any of them mean. The fact that you didn't have any images till right at the end, it kind of tells a small tale by itself, because I've only seen this happen one other time. Again, I've been doing your method 2 to 3 months at this point, so again, I've done quite a few to be able to see how it measures out, but you gave us some specific things, and I don't write anything down during this time because I want to make sure I'm focused on breathing. I have had to tap people out of this because they will hyperventilate, and we did get some clues over here, the word ending, as soon as we ended it. I asked him if he wanted us to stop, and he gets the word end. There was something else that I was like, oh, okay.
There are a lot of words here now. All right, we got how scared, grandmother, dog, placate, vary, watch, burn, steamy, scared, joy, type. Oh, type. I think was it.
Yeah. But does anybody know if typewriters would have been around in the 1860s? I'm going to say no.
I don't know the answer to that.
I would say a press, but maybe, I mean, there's a type
We're gonna
press.
figure this out.
I just don't know
but
that
not a
he would have been
typewriter.
using it.
Right.
I mean, obviously, what I showed you, he was handwriting.
Right, all hands. Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that there wasn't a typed face. So, very interesting piece. Just you have to stop and think about Know Your Ghost.
Yeah.
Introduced in 1874.
So, no.
Yeah.
Okay, what's after type? Let's go through the
Oh, sorry. Let's see here. Oh, type. Then it goes button, born, lust, rim, innovation, lab, galaxy, consistent, end, eerie, and burn again.
Lots of burn.
A lot of burn.
Lots of burn. Yeah.
Scared and burn.
Eerie, that's interesting.
Yeah. Again, you guys will have that full word list. Luckily, I normally run one of those like all night long, like when I have my full groups. You guys are going to know that only those terms, like we're done here, all relevant to the story of Henry Timrod. That's kind of the interesting piece about it. So obviously we didn't get any EMF readings out of this as well. I've seen this go all the way up to 167 while we've been doing this little scenario right here. So we have gotten in the triple digits when he's been very present and aware of what we're doing. I think he's quite irritated with me, but his son and himself both died in the month of October. So this is a very irritable month for him, and I'm sitting here poking the banana. So it is one of those pieces where I never know where things are going to go, but as long as you're respectful, I try my best every single time. I love the fact that you gave me very odd months of the year that are not current right now. So if you would have just said October, I would have been like, yeah, it's still vague, we're in the month of October, kind of like Charleston. But you gave me December and February. Those are very specific. And you gave me 896, so very odd and specific. The February 1st is throwing me off too, so now I got to go dive into when his wife was born. So interesting stuff. This was a really unique, fun team. You guys were very quiet. It usually creeps me out, but the fact that you guys were all like laser focused on what was happening with everybody else, I love that. So I know I talk a lot, so that gives me an opportunity to be the people watcher. Again, I'm the writer. You're all characters to me. That's how I remember everybody's name. Which, by the way, did I screw up anybody's name tonight? I think I guys always know. That's a big deal to me because I don't want you guys calling me Rick all night long. You guys get my point. Next tour you guys go on, make sure you call your tour guide Rick, no matter what his name is. As I collect these, keep in mind that last chance to scan or tap that QR code that's on your device if you want to get my contact info. And then I will kind of stop your audio and start collecting your devices and tell you what steps are next. I don't time this, we just go. So I can tell you that it is 11:37 at this point, so we've been up for quite a while. This wants to connect. What questions, comments, concerns does anybody have?